Blessed morning, children. Welcome back to social class. So, children, last week we started the chapter our Constitution. So, a constitution contains the basic rules according to which a country is governed, and it was framed by the Constituent Assembly, which comprised representatives of the people of India. And the Constituent Assembly appointed a drafting committee to prepare a draft of the Constitution. And who was the chairman, children? Very good. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee, and a constitution was formally passed by the Constituent Assembly on 26 November 1949, and it was adopted on 26 January 1950, which we celebrate as Republic Day. Okay, next we discussed about the preamble of our constitution. Do you remember? I asked you to memorize it. Okay, so the preamble to a constitution summarizes the aims and the objectives of our constitution. And what does it state? It states that our country is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. And it also states that the constitution aims to secure justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity for all the citizens of our country. And some of the features of a constitution have been borrowed from the constitutions of the other countries. So this is what we saw last week. So today we are going to discuss about the features of a constitution. Shall we? So the Constituent Assembly approved a flag, an anthem, a song and an icon for our country. So you all know. So these were the tricolor flag, our national flag. You know the colors and its significance, isn't it? Then Janagana Mana. When do we sing? Yes, every Monday we sing in assembly, isn't it? Yes, and Vande Mataram and the line capital respectively. So this is all our pride, our sacrifice, everything to salute our nation. So next we are going to say about the federal system. So children, you all know that India has a written constitution, isn't it? And the first feature is the federal system. So the Indian constitution is provided for a federal form of government, and the responsibility of governing a country has been divided between the center and the states, because the center cannot take control for the whole country, isn't it? And most laws made by the center are applied throughout the country, and laws made by a state are applied only within the state. So the next one is the parliamentary system. So the constitution provides for a parliamentary system of government both at the center and in the states. And the parliament is divided into two houses, the House of the People and the Council of States. The government at the center is answerable to the parliament, and the government at the state level is answerable to the state legislature. So next we are going to see about the organs of the government. So there are three main branches of the government: legislative branch, the executive branch and the judicial branch. So first one, the legislative branch. So it includes the parliament and the state legislatures of various states, and the legislature makes laws for the country. Okay, so what is the main purpose of legislative branch? To make laws. Okay, that alone you keep in your mind. Next one is the executive branch. So it includes the president, vice president, prime minister, council of ministers and so on. So the executive carries out the decisions made by the legislature. So the action takes place here, that is, it implements law. And the third one is the judicial branch. So it consists of the Supreme Court, the High Court and the lower courts. And the judiciary, it protects the rights of the citizens. Okay, so they interpret law here. So now the topic is independent judiciary. So our constitution establishes an independent judiciary. So the judiciary can declare a law unconstitutional if it is against the following. What are those? The fundamental rights guaranteed by the constitution and any compulsory provision of the constitution. Okay, these are the two main points. So here they can declare a law unconstitutional if both the things are against it. Okay. Now, the following provisions have been made to make the judiciary independent. What are they? Specific qualifications are laid down for the appointment of judges. Okay, only if the required qualifications are there, they can sit in that place. Okay, and the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court are appointed by the President of India. This will be a repeated question in many of the exams. Okay, so the Chief Justice of India has to be consulted in the appointment of the Supreme Court and the High Court judges, and judges can be removed from office only if it is approved by the both houses of the Parliament. Okay, children. So this you have to keep in your mind. This is very important. All the 4 points. Okay. So the judge of the Supreme Court and the High Court, who appoints them? Yes, the President of India. And how can the judges can be removed? Only if we get approval from both the houses of the Parliament. So the next one is fundamental rights. The Indian Constitution guarantees certain basic rights to all its citizens. What do you mean by rights? Uripmai, isn't it? So they are known as fundamental rights. So they help us to maintain the democratic nature of our government. Okay, children. So in the next lesson, we'll be learning about the fundamental rights in detail. Okay. So now the directive principles of the state policy. So part 4 of the constitution states certain principles which the government should follow and some ideals which the government should aim to achieve. So these are known as the directive principles of state policy. So this is an important answer. They'll be asking you what do you mean by directive principles of state policy. So you should be able to give the answer. So these principles should be followed in administrative matters and while framing the laws of our constitution. So the next one is single citizenship. So citizenship gives people certain rights and responsibilities. So in India, there is a single citizenship. So people born to the citizens of India are citizens of the nation and not of the state. So if a person belonging to another country wishes to acquire Indian citizenship, she or he can do so by fulfilling certain conditions. So here a person may be living in any state but he is a citizen of India alone. Okay, and the principle of double citizenship promotes regionalism and provincialism, whereas the principle of single citizenship promotes national unity. Therefore, the principle of single citizenship is adopted in India. And the last but not the least is the universal adult franchise. So democracy is incomplete without the universal adult franchise. This means that all adult citizens are entitled to elect their representatives to the government. That means the candidates whom we choose for election. And every citizen of India who is 18 years of age or above has a right to vote. So amendments to the constitution have been made to keep pace with the changing times, and we must respect the constitution and follow it in both letter and in spirit. And if you reach 18 years of age, what you have to do? You have to cast your vote. It is your right and it is your duty to do it. Okay. So children, in today's class, we have discussed about the features of a constitution and about the organs of the government like independent judiciary, fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, single citizenship and universal adult franchise. Okay children, so please write your classwork neatly with legible handwriting. Do all your incomplete work and take care and be safe children. See you soon.